Hey guys, my name is Ivan and I have my friend.
Yes.
Can I call you friend now?
I hope so. Yeah.
We know each other for a very short time, but I feel like I've known him for a long time because he lives in Austria and I used to live in Austria.
Yeah. We hit it off quick too. It was easy.
Yeah. So Tamas, tell me something about you so that the listeners can learn something about you.
Me. Hi, my name is Tamas. I'm a half Hungarian, half South African stand-up comedian based in Vienna. We're now recording this in Sofia, Bulgaria, where I'm doing 3 dates, 3 shows, Sofia, Varna, and Plovdiv. And I love doing this. That's why I'm here. I really enjoy traveling, telling jokes. I think it's the best life there is. So this is fun. I'm glad. Thanks for having me.
Great. It's very funny that the Americans have this big community, this big possibility of visiting different cities and doing comedy in a lot of different cities. But we, the Europeans, we're so fragmented. We have such a small countries. And
we started a lot later too.
Yeah.
America had this in the 50s.
Yeah.
We just have it.
The British got it in the 80s, actually.
That's it?
Yeah.
I thought they had it long too.
In the 80s, it's longer than us.
Oh, 100%. We got it in the 2011.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wow, it was a lot later.
So you're Hungarian?
Yeah.
Have you done something professional in South Africa? Or
Not yet, but actually I'm going there for a friend of mine's wedding in February.
Okay.
And I've done some things with South African comedians from South Africa in Europe. So I'm also like, guys, I'll be there for a wedding. Okay. I hope you can put me on a stage. I don't want, but I have to do South Africa as a show.
Cool. Yeah. I have this dream for a long time. I have had it for a long time, but now I decided to start doing something about it. And this dream is creating something like an European community or maybe Eastern European community for starters.
Even better. Yeah.
For starters. Maybe the Eastern European people are funnier, huh? Or they like to have fun more.
100%. They're a lot more open to it because they have problems in life.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of Western Europeans still don't really have problems. Not like Eastern Europeans, like not the small salary. They're like, sure, they have their problems, but in overall and it's fine. So they have a lot more. I was testing that a bit today as well at the show. Like, you guys didn't like this joke as much, but the punchline is a lot darker. Let's see, because in Western Europe, usually when the build-up is then you're always like, do I want to drop the final, which is a lot darker than the rest? And here I dropped it, and that's when they're like, yeah, finally, this is the tough stuff. And I'm like, all right, okay. So you guys like...
So you would say that Bulgarians like dark stuff more than Western Europeans?
Not even as... Yes, but not even dark, but like harder stuff. Like a harder line, like... Today I said the joke with the sauna, like if you can drown in a small pool like that, you should. Okay. And in Austria, it gets a laugh, but they're like, wow, that's kind of rough. They're like, yeah, die in the pool.
Is that about political correctness? You've traveled to a lot of countries here in the region and other countries as well. What level of political correctness do you think in every part of the European Union is?
Well, I feel like it's right now, in my experience, Germany, I've had the toughest shows.
So they are most politically correct, the Germans,
But
right?
I don't know if it's political correctness or they're just trying really hard to be politically correct in this. We can't offend anybody, not even a little bit. So I felt like when I was talking to people, the rest of the audience was just scanning like, is that okay? Is that, did he say, is that okay? Is that, and they were like, not listening to the show as much as scanning like, oh, he brought up Bulgaria. Can he say that? Can he say Balkan to a Bulgarian guy? Is that okay? Not just like, hey, what if I say Yugo? It's like, oh, you go, that's not, and you know.
Young people start to do that in Bulgaria as well.
Really?
It didn't used to be like that. I don't think
Internet.
that any old people would be really politically correct. I'm 100% sure that no person above 50 is politically correct in Bulgaria. But the teenagers and the 20 years olds, they start trying to be politically. I think they find it cool to be politically correct.
Well, they want to belong somewhere, right? They don't know. They don't have real life experience. They don't have real problems. So they're like, I can't believe you said that. Like, don't you have bills to pay? Like, really? That's your biggest problem, is that I said something at a comedy show on stage? That's not a real life problem, right? The real life problem is I'm going to get evicted. I can't pay rent. I don't have a job. My wife left me. And like, these are issues and problems, and you can have illnesses and stuff. I really have a hard time taking like political correctness seriously, especially nowadays. And there's wars everywhere, and everybody's going. Like you said, everyone's fragmented and have their own thing. Like, not hurting somebody's feelings with a joke. I'm like, I can be. I'm sorry. I just don't care.
Yeah, but there are those people who search everywhere to find something that can get. They can get offended.
I know those people as well, and I do a fantastic job offending them as much as possible.
Okay.
I have this, that in German it's called this like Trotz. Like, for example, I didn't want to touch this microphone, but if you tell me I'm not allowed to touch it,
okay.
and with
the forbidden fruit.
Exactly,
right?
And they're like, Did you say that? Did you? And I'm like, hey man, I'm Jewish, but if you keep your attitude up, I'm about to join the Nazi party. I'm not actually gonna do it. I'm just gonna tell you, because I'm gonna see. I can see you're very easy to piss off with nothing but words.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say all the worst things I can think of for anything. You bring up whatever topic, I will have an opinion that's the worst possible thing, just to screw with them. Cool. Just like, oh, you think that was bad? I'll wait for this. And just, maybe show them, like, there's always worse. Like,
and how come you decided to do that in Austria and not in Hungary? The two countries are neighboring countries.
Yeah.
You have perfect command of Hungarian language, right?
Well, not anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that
I understand everything, but I can't, because I don't use the language very often. I didn't start forgetting it, but when I start speaking Hungarian, stuff's coming in German and English all the time. So if I have to write letters or emails, I write my mom to help me write the letter, or tell ChatGPT to write it. Because if I see a proper letter, I can see, okay, this is well written. But I couldn't create that anymore.
How old were you when you left Hungary?
21.
So your teenagers years were in Hungary?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That was it. And then afterwards, I never spoke Hungarian, or very little with somebody.
So you don't have this big Hungarian group of friends in Austria?
I know a lot of Hungarians.
A lot of Laszlos in Austria?
Yeah, definitely. The Laszlos are everywhere.
I knew two Laszlos. When I lived in Vienna, I knew two Laszlos.
Of course. I think I'm actually surprised Vienna doesn't have more Hungarians, because it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And most Hungarians don't even know how much better it is.
Do you know this?
14 salaries?
Yeah.
And you tell that to Hungarians, like, what do you mean?
Maybe some people don't know, but in Austria, a lot of people get 14 salaries a year. Everybody?
Everybody. You have to be...
It's 12 for 12 months.
But
then you've got the Christmas salary.
End of November and end of June, your salary just doubles.
And in June, because you're not working and you're going to the seaside or somewhere abroad,
They're
They
like,
think,
here,
okay, you need a lot of money, so take
Here.
this
Yeah.
additional salary the month that you're not working.
it's unheard of. I tell this to Hungarians, they're like, wait, what? But what do you have to do? And they're like, nothing. You don't have to write anybody. If your salary that arrives in your bank account is 1,000 euros, on those 2 months, it's just 2,000. No questions asked. It's crazy.
Every job gets that in Austria, apart of your job, right?
Yes. Well, I also had a bar
You
job,
found the only job in Austria that doesn't pay 14 salaries.
but I'm also in Bulgaria now with an EU-funded event
Yeah.
series. So, not those jobs don't get that. They get to sit in an office.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a studio in Sofia.
Yeah.
What's better?
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me like I'm your boss, dude.
But there is this saying, I liked it a lot. It's a hard job to do an easy living.
Yes.
It's very hard to live easy.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
You have the easiest of livings, but you have to work a lot to live that easy.
You had to work a lot to get there.
Okay.
Because see, now it's fun because at comedy, I'm now working on my 3rd hour. It's been 12 years I'm doing this. So the performance part doesn't really get me nervous anymore.
But thinking of the future, it's not secure at all.
I mean, I can be annoyed with that.
Oh, you're living in the moment, right?
Yeah, I have plans. I always plan for the future, but I'm not going to be anxious about it. Just going to ruin my performance in the future. Well, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. And if it gets really tight, I used to work in a bar as a barman and make good tip money on the side. And I can always get some part-time job in a bar.
Cool.
And whatever. So, yeah.
People don't drink anymore.
I'll
the young
drink
people.
for them. I don't want the young people there. I want middle-aged, the old Austrians
Cool.
drinking wine, but they're the best.
The Austrians, they're
Yeah,
drinking a lot of wine.
When you want to
yeah.
make a politically incorrect statement, they're like, Tamas, can I? And it's like, you can tell me whatever. It's like, these. Like, my friend, let's talk.
The Austrians, huh?
Yeah.
They're all politically correct
outside.
until they drink a bottle of wine. Then
Yeah. Oh, and then
It's
it's
totally
out
different
of the.
story.
Let me tell you my problem about this. Yeah. But that's all right. I like that mentality.
yeah. So but you said you perform in Hungary from time to time. So
Yeah.
you do it in English as well, or
Yeah.
you go back to your home country
And do it in
and you
English.
perform in English.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It fascinated me as well because I was very curious because I got all these followers in Hungary and I'm like, all right, I'm guessing if these people come to the show, they're going to bring their foreigner friends. And we rented a theater in Hungary, a nice big one so we can fit everybody. It was really nice and packed. And
Is there a lot of foreigners in Hungary?
Yeah.
What they are doing there?
You'd be surprised. They all have these big companies. This is the thing Orban did as well, where they say, oh, he doesn't let in any of the immigrants. It's like, yeah, it's not completely true. He lets in any immigrants as long as they're rich and own companies. And that's kind of the deal. Like, oh, you have one kid and no income and you're a refugee? Sorry, look, we're full. There's no space. Then, oh, you have 20 children and 2 big car companies and stocks and you're a billionaire. Right this way, sir. You need a free apartment? Here, take this. Take mine. They sit in the rooftop.
So he's choosing he's like a woman. He wants
The best.
the best.
Yeah. Well,
The richest,
he's a
the-
short guy, right?
Okay.
So he will look up to a lot of these. That's why Putin likes him.
Oh.
He's the only president who's shorter than him.
Oh,
He can,
but he looks always not as short on pictures,
of course not. If
They-
I was a short, that's what I would tell them. Photograph me from below.
Cool. So you go to the home country performing in English, and you think that our European countries, they have this potential to work to laugh at other people who are not native speakers
Yeah.
but speak English,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's my dream, but I have always been afraid of that this is not possible.
It's possible. It's totally possible.
Yeah, but Vienna has a lot of
Possible in
foreigners.
Budapest.
Cool. Yeah, that's more interesting because I knew that Vienna is possible, Berlin is possible, but if you say that Budapest can do it,
Budapest.
so maybe Sofia can do it as well.
I'm sure Sofia can. How many people live in Sofia?
1.5 million.
Okay, so it's big. Yeah, man, that's totally possible.
How big is Budapest?
2.1.
Oh, it's bigger.
It's bigger, yeah. Vienna is also 1.92.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have their home addresses, so it's maybe 2 or 3 million, maybe, Vienna.
Possibly.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who skip. But do you think the people who you're talking about, the foreigners that are not welcomed, do they sometimes go to comedy as well, or only the local people and the rich immigrants go to comedy?
Like, you mean asylum seekers and stuff?
Not the worst situation, not the people with the worst situation, but maybe with not that good of a situation. Do they also go to a comedy club?
Some of them definitely do. I would actually say I find it more common to run into refugees who do comedy.
Ah, cool.
I know.
But that's also good.
Yeah,
so they watched and they started doing it.
I know a lot of Syrians who were there, who were established. One guy is a friend of mine. He was a very established actor in Syria. Has a show reel. He showed me. And it was like, dude, these all look like Hollywood productions. And he told me, like, a show reel for an actor. And all of it looked crazy. Like, you're like a serious professional actor. What the fuck? And he's like, yeah, but my country's bombed to shit, so I'm here now, trying to build it up. And he was doing stand-up, and now they did like an English night with Syrians, an Arabic night with Syrians. Now I just saw that guy that he got some TV stuff in some Austrian crime drama. As the mysterious dude. I was so happy to see it. Like, yes, you finally got movie stuff. Like, dude, you're amazing at this. This is what you should be doing.
Cool.
And he finally broke in. So that's also great, right? Because if the refugees do the comedy, they'll also bring in other refugees to look at, to check it out.
I used to think that only native speakers can make it into the comedy world, because if you look America, if you look at the United States, they hardly have anybody who wasn't born there. They have people who are immigrants, but they were born there, so they're not really immigrants. They speak the language perfectly.
Yes.
And that's what I was afraid of. The British people have this kind of thing as well, I think. And when I go to England, to London, for example, I, as a visitor of a comedy club, I like the people who talk so that I can understand easily.
Yeah.
But I don't like the language of people who are talking like the people in Scotland or Ireland.
I just wanted to say that some Scottish comedians, I'm concentrating hard.
Sometimes I don't understand the Scottish comedians or Irish.
Yeah, but if you
comedians.
see those audiences are just Scottish people and Irish people who go there, because otherwise he couldn't do it like that. Even the ones who speak normally with a Scottish accent or Irish accent, I've noticed that when they tour Europe, I always tell them to, like, hey, just slow it down, try to speak clearly, and don't use such complex words, because if you have a hard accent, you speak fast and you use super high level words, it's almost certain that it's not going to be a good show, because the people are not native speakers, right? So there's an aspect of them like translating in their head, which is what I also noticed that today, that I was talking kind of fast and I felt like I'm losing them slowly, like chit chat, and I was like, all right. So can everybody understand? And then there was a change in the tone, and like, and I felt that brought it back. Like they could also come to like, okay, I can understand this. I don't have to be super focused on it, and You also have to make it good for your audience.
Good. This was not only in comedy, but in online world as well, because we watch Bulgarian content on the YouTube, for example,
Yeah.
or American content. But I was thinking, why nobody in Bulgaria watches a person from Hungary or from Germany who
I'm asking
speaks
the same question.
English?
Watch me, guys.
Yeah, and I think there is a world in which everybody in Europe can give a chance to everybody else in Europe, because everybody under 40 has some general level of English and
Yeah.
can understand each other, I think. And this is my dream, that we start something that creates this atmosphere that people give chance to other small countries in Europe, and not only watch the Americans and because that really changes our culture. Actually, Europe has a very different cultural background than America.
Yeah.
Although most of the Americans came from Europe
Yeah.
some time ago, but they changed the culture so much that our easy-going lifestyle and the thing that should be very, very typical for us is taken from us. And people start, if the Americans go politically correct, our kids and our teenagers want
Also-
the same. Let's try something else. Let's try some different paths.
Yeah, exactly. That's what also I'm kind of working on there. It's like I have an Austria circuit that I always tour, and I bring people with me as a headliner show. Like, okay, you headline. And what I told you as well, like if we could link up a few countries who do, like there's some guys in Hungary who do a little tour, and Czech Republic, Germany, Slovenia,
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Yeah, you could, have a booking. And you can just have somebody do it, and we can pass them around, these people. He does a tour with you here, and then you pass him on to Hungary. Then from Hungary, passes it on to me to Austria, and then I pass it to a friend of mine in Germany. And
Yeah.
he can have a 25-city tour, and he doesn't have to do anything.
And online is even easier, because podcasts are now very big everywhere, and people love their country fellows and their podcasts from their nationality. But maybe it's time that we start giving this chance to other neighboring countries or countries from our region.
I agree.
And
Yeah. Let's go. Let's bring it everywhere. Everybody likes it. When I went to Vorarlberg for the first time, people were ecstatic. Like, finally, something's happened. This is new. We only saw this on YouTube.
How
and
did you get there?
Netflix,
Our viewers don't know, but Vorarlberg is a very disconnected part of Austria. It's high in the mountains.
Yeah, it's on the Swiss-German Liechtenstein border. It's a tiny little county.
And they ski all the time.
Well, it's very mountainy, so they have all the skiing stuff. Actually, all the cities have like 30 to 50,000 or even less. But it's so well connected that you can just jump on a train and in 8 to 9 minutes be in a different place. Or even the furthest distance within is like 35, 40 minutes on a train that's super modern and fast. And whole of Vorarlberg is like 350,000 people, all of the county. And a lot of industry there, a lot of foreigners, but the foreigners don't live, all of them, in the big cities there, because the industry and the factories will be out in the mountains. So they live in these little 780 people villages around the place. And when I run ads for Vorarlberg, I run it in the whole county. And when first time we did...
So people drive to go and see a show.
Yeah.
I don't think Bulgarians would do that.
No, you go to them. You definitely, like, see, Vorarlbergers wouldn't go to Tyrol. but they'll go drive 15 minutes, 20 minutes. When we did the first show there, we had people who left the show early because they had to catch trains back to Liechtenstein and Italy. And
Ooh, cool.
Because I ran the ads there, but they live in Italy but work in Vorarlberg.
Cool.
Or from Germany. So they saw the ad when they were there.
That's typical for that part.
When you live on the border.
When you live on the,
and you can just drive 5 minutes, work at some shitty McDonald's job on the highway. In Hungary, jackpots.
There is this great outlet center in the on the border between Parndorf, between Hungary and Austria, and it's situated in Austria. But everybody who works there is actually Hungarian, and they drive there from Hungary.
I would. Sopron is so close to the border that I think it's like it must be a 1 kilometer drive to the border. So if the McDonald's or Pandorf is another 5 to 10 kilometers, what's a 10-minute drive in the morning? Like you probably drive longer to get to an office.
I drive an hour to get to
wherever
the business center of Sofia.
Yeah, see, so you ended up driving is always there, and it's always long, and they would just get it done.
Cool. There was this big YouTuber. He was for a long time. He was the biggest YouTuber in the world. PewDiePie.
Yeah,
You've heard
I
of
know.
him. Yeah. PewDiePie was actually not a native speaker.
No.
But he
Swedish,
was Scandinavian.
right?
He's Scandinavian, and Scandinavians have a very good command of English.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, they're lucky because they learn such a good English at school or I don't know where. And they can communicate through YouTube or everywhere on the social networks so good that they break this language barrier. But I was not sure that we, the Eastern Europeans, can do it as well. And you give me hope that that's possible.
I think it is because everybody speaks English now. When I moved to Austria from Budapest in 2013, it was like a hilarious stereotype joke about Hungarians that, you go back to Hungary, nobody speaks English. Nobody, absolutely nobody speaks. Friends of mine went on a weekend trip and they crashed the car a bit. They had to call the police. The police didn't speak any English. So they had to call the hotel reception desk on the phone. So the police talk to the police and translate and give what's going on. It's like, no English? And just 12 years later, I can do a show for 200 people in Budapest, most of whom are 95% were Hungarians.
Cool.
I even made a joke about it, like, just how many of you are like Hungarian? The whole audience, woo! And I'm like, because I see my statistics on.
So a Hungarian guy goes back to Hungary to do a stand-up comedy show in English.
Yeah.
And everybody in the audience is Hungarian.
And they loved it. I never remember, because, I moved here and I started in Austria. So I just thought I'm going to post these videos because I started all these crowd work videos during COVID. Because I'm like, all right, everything's moving online. We're locked in. So I'm going, everyone's on front of the screen. Watch me.
Yeah.
Watch me then if you're going to watch something. And I noticed really quickly, because at the time I didn't do any crowd work. I always asked somebody to host my show and then I do my hour and whatever. And then I thought, man, I went through all the videos I had and I had like 6 little 30-second clips. And I'm like, I don't want to. So I started hosting my own shows to get the clips in. Some of these clips then went viral because Hungarian jokes, these are Austrian jokes. So I started collecting followers. And I'm like, I wonder if these people come out to a show. Because I saw like, okay, Hungary has a big percentage and Austria are my 2 main things. I'm like, okay, but I guess the Hungarians are not Hungarian. They're foreigners who live in Hungary. Nope. Apparently not.
Cool. Cool, man. Cool.
So I'm sure it's happening here as well. Because every Bulgarian I've ever met in Austria
Did you work on
English.
Have you worked additionally on your English language after you started this?
No.
No?
No. I
You haven't done anything specific for your pronunciation to work on it in order to for people to
No,
get used to it? Or?
no.
Cool.
You should. Why you wanna? Were you thinking about?
Well,
I like your accent. I think it's a very Bulgarian. I think if you're gonna do that in English, do it like that.
I think only
proud of your
Eastern
accent.
Europeans would like Eastern European accent.
I don't know about that. Like there's a comedian friend of mine, Radu Isak and Victor.
Oh, Radu is coming
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
he has a distinctly Romanian accent and voice.
He lives in London right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I toured with him and he always talked like this.
Mhm.
And now why do they do that? And it's like the diction, the way the melody, everything is super Romanian. People eat it up. But he also has that weird. I'm very jealous of that, actually, people who can do that. Because I'm a very, wow, all in. And these guys like Radu can stand there like awkwardly on stage, not move anything, like humped shoulder. Like, hello, my name is Radu. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. And everybody.
That's a very good impression of
dead
Radu.
laughing.
Yeah.
Everybody like, how the fuck did you do that? I just saw the whole audience when you said hello. They were like awkward, and then you just did 2 lines and 1 word, and everybody's losing his mind laughing. And now they're into that style. So now they're like sitting like, what else? And it's like, and then another. Wow.
Then if you're very, very good, it will work.
It will work. And
Okay.
sometimes you can pull them in, or you should be able to pull them into your awkwardness.
Mhm.
And then it doesn't matter because you're like, all right, it's like a silly show. It's all okay. You're doing and then it wins. Like that's what it depends on. Is if you find the connection with them, you can do whatever. Like
How did you fall in love with stand-up comedy? How did you decide to become a comedian?
Well, I always kind of had a big mouth. I went to 5 schools until I graduated high school. 3 elementary and 2 high school.
Okay.
And I wasn't fighting, drinking, drugs, nothing. I was just, I was a smartass. And now, looking back, I'm sure it was unbelievably frustrating to be a teacher, to tell me hey, Tamas, shut the fuck up. And I respond something, and now the entire class is laughing. And you're like, I'm going to beat this little shit. You know, like, I totally get it. I understand. I must have been a frustrating kid. But then people were telling me like, hey, why don't you try this stand-up? Because Hungarian stand-up at the time was just beginning.
What year was that?
This must have been 2007
A long time ago.
to 10, something like that. They had this show der club, it's called, because show and show der is like, it's like a word play on slang, because show der is like the dirt that's at the construction site, the sand and rocks and stuff, but it's also if you're like talking a lot, it's like, you're pushing the show there, like, so it's show there club, and it was that, and they were the first Hungarian stand-up people, and that was fascinating, and I was always kind of like that. I just didn't know that was my thing at the time. Like I would walk around the corridor in school in the break and just see 4 kids there just enjoying the conversation, and everyone started laughing, and I got them to laugh, and I'm like, all right, my work is done here. I'm just gone now.
So people made a living of it before you started?
Long ago, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't even know. I only decided that I want to do this in Austria. I don't know what was the thing.
Oh, you didn't go there to become a comedian?
No. I already moved to Austria. I became a dishwashing boy in a hotel. Because I always...
Was that the dream? To become a dishwasher?
Actually, yes.
Yeah?
Because at the time, I was like a very no future views, no dreams, nothing Hungarian kid who just like, yeah.
But you had a plan if you
But not
moved
stand
to
up
Austria.
yet. I had the plan, was like, all right, I'll figure it, like always, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
But first I need a job, I need cash flow. What can I do without any German, but good English? I'll do a dishwashing boy thing. Then I'll learn German. And then at one point I knew I want to do stand-up in English. But then the plan was I'm going to get a good tip job at a reception or bar, collect all the money, move to London, and start my comedy
That's always
career
the
there.
plan, yeah.
That was the plan. And then a friend of mine back then on Facebook, checking in on Facebook, checked in English-speaking comedy open mic stand-up Vienna. Vienna? Vienna? And those were the guys.
I knew
you
the
told
guys,
me
yeah,
about,
yeah.
Daniel and Jed, and I was like, oh my God. And this was 2014 February, and I started then. And that's, I never looked back. I was like, well, I did look back once. Yeah. Because the first 10 months were terrible. There was one show once a month. I would do my...
With not a big audience.
No.
I know the audience back then
It was
in Vienna.
5 to 15 people.
Yeah.
Sometimes 20. Oh, full house.
Most of them friends from the open micers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like I would go upstairs, bomb for 6 minutes. And then for 1 week, I was depressed. For 1 week, I didn't think about it. And then for 1 week, I was motivated writing stuff. And then I would bomb again and repeat the cycle. And that went on for 10 months.
Okay.
And then I had one where they were on winter break. And I was like, God damn it, I bombed a few times. I'm going to write this stuff. It has to be good. And, I was like, come on. Like, I when I practiced this is not funny. The show, the day of the show came. And I was like, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling this at all. I practice my jokes, but you practice it 100 times. It's not funny. I'm like, this is shit. I don't feel like it. I'm down. I hope nobody comes so they cancel the show and I can be done with the stand-up shit and that it's over. This was 2015, January 25. I remember it by the day. And we had like 50 people that night. I'm like, seriously? Like, tonight we have to have more people than we ever had before? Fuck, okay. And in my head, I decided, all right, you know what? I'm still done with this stand-up because this is clearly not working. I'm going to go up there. I don't give a fuck if you laugh, don't laugh, I don't care. I'm going to go up there, do a university speech to the best of my abilities, and then we're over. And I go up. I say hi, I say the first joke, and like a huge uproar of laughter. And I'm like, I still have the video. My reaction to the laughter is like if they didn't laugh. So I had the joke, and I'm like,
my friend
okay.
Lubomira, she says laughter is a little bit like a drug.
Yeah.
Once you get laughter and once you get
applause, you're hooked.
You're hooked. You can never go back.
Lady Gaga, I live for the applause, applause.
Yeah.
Totally. And then I said the second joke, even bigger. And I was like, oh, this feels good. Oh, yeah, no, this is fine. We can keep doing this. And then we kept at it. And then I've never looked back.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's
cool.
fun.
And cool that you made this impossible dream of doing it in English, because as I told you, this is a very, very big dream of mine, and I thought it's impossible, but although I thought it's impossible, I decided to try and see if I can make it work, maybe.
Yeah.
And now that I meet you, I think I'm not convinced it's possible.
It's possible. I'm telling you it's possible.
But maybe.
And I think you're definitely digging at something, because what's like the youngest people that come to the shows? Like today we had a bunch of younger.
Yeah, 20 years old.
20,
18 years old.
So kids are turning 18 and 20 every day. And they grew up on this internet generation. They love American style.
A lot of Bulgarian kids, sometimes it's annoying. A lot of Bulgarian kids, they go on the streets and they talk to each other in one sentence Bulgarian, one sentence in English. This mixture of Bulgarian language.
We have those hipsters in Vienna as well. Oh. They're all in the 7th district. Like, exactly. And I'm like, which one is it? What are we doing? This is not a broken language thing. You speak both of those perfectly. Pick one.
But our generation, we did it with one word, for example.
Yeah, you put in one word.
You put cringe, or this is cringe, but this is in Bulgarian. Then the word cringe.
Cringe would be in
English. And our parents were angry at that.
Yeah.
And now the kids are doing one whole sentence and we're angry at them. Maybe their kids will do everything in English and they will be angry at their kids.
No, they can tell them, why don't you go to Ivan's comedy shows? Because they're in English and you love this English stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's just, I think it's just cultivating branding with it. Like, as I come to our shows, have a few like camera guys, like videographers, maybe do some events and have some dynamic shots and for marketing. And
But what's the role of the mother language then? Should Bulgarian and Hungarian disappear, or what should?
no, do both
What
of
should
those
happen?
shows.
No. I mean, if it's good for the European community to have this common language,
Yeah.
and if they start communicating a lot on that in that language, what happens to all the languages and cultures? Because you said it yourself that you use so much English language in your life that you start forgetting Hungarian on that high level.
Yeah. I speak like a foreigner in Hungarian. And how do you say?
I hate how do you say. I hate how do you say it. In
And I
your
just
language.
like pause and like, what's the word, the thing you hold, and you start describing it because the words aren't coming. I have a lot of that.
Yeah.
But then after a day, it starts coming back more fluently. If I'm in Hungary or something.
It's because I'm always confused what I personally prefer. I am convinced that our culture is so interesting that it should not disappear. But I'm also convinced that I want to communicate to a wider audience. I want to talk to everybody from Europe. I don't want to put a wall between all the small European countries.
I don't think one equals the other disappearing. You're just doing something new here. I think disappearing languages is way down the line, like hundreds of years down the line.
You think so?
Yeah, because it doesn't mean today the show was mostly in Bulgarian. I was the only English speaker, so it doesn't disappear. It just means you're doing something else, and to be a part of this, you need to know this language. But that doesn't mean the home country and culture and tradition should disappear, because they're cool, they're good. They're interesting. I like the Eastern European culture a lot. So I don't want it to disappear. I think we can do both. Bulgarian shows and English shows. And cross-pollinate.
I want that Europe gets everything from us, speaking of culture and attitude and moods, but just the language. We find one language that we can communicate with each other, and we can produce TV shows and stars, and our Bulgarian singers can work with German singers or something like that. That would be so fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
Because it's what the Americans did, and what I have been jealous my whole life of them having this opportunity to export their art to the whole world. An American singer is on every radio station in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
But the Bulgarian singer is not on a single American radio station.
Yet.
Yeah.
Well, we had Falco in Austria. He was number one. I think it's a lot harder to break
They don't know it, but this is an 80s singer who was very famous particularly for one song. Amadeus.
Okay, that one was really, but Vienna Calling is fantastic.
Vienna Calling is good. Yeah.
He has a bunch of great songs. Oh, der Kommissar geht oh.
This one I don't know.
No, he has a bunch of, and in Austria, if you don't know who is that's the one thing that would immediately get you in a fight.
I think that's the only big Austrian singer, apart from Conchita Wurst.
Yeah, but yeah. In an effort to not cancel ourselves, let's leave that one out of it.
Okay.
I also haven't seen that person on TV since 10 years or something. Like, she did the Eurovision and did a few ads, made the money, and then just fucked off.
Maybe, yeah.
I see, because I don't even remember when, like, now that you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's that one too. Yeah.
The Germans had a couple of those big stars singing in English. It was the YMCA.
YMCA, those guys. But they even have actors now. The Brühl and
I don't know him.
Magneto. I think Fassbender, Michael Fassbender. Is Magneto in X-Men.
He's German?
He's German.
But he lived his life in Germany? Or was he a kid in...
I'm fairly certain he still lives. Then there's Til Schweiger.
Til Schweiger, but he's only German. I know Til Schweiger.
Yeah. So you've noticed they have like these celebrities. And this is also, I think, similar to what we were vibing on. Because, you know, Andrew Schultz?
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz is a huge comedian, and he's
where has he lived his life? In America?
US all his life, but he's famous there, and he's also famous here. But the US has a bunch of celebrities that you and I have never heard about. But
country musicians, for example.
But even stand-ups and actors and rap, all sorts of musicians and stand-ups who are just there, and you would never heard of them, but they fill up stadiums all across the US and Canada. I kind of want to be something like that in Europe, where like if you ask in America, who's Tamas Vamos? I don't know. But in Europe, like, you know, we don't have like...
You go to Greece and everybody knows you.
Like, oh, I've been to the show last month. He filled up the theater. And now, because there's no like a Europe celebrity. There's like, you know, the fast Magneto and Officer Zemo from the Avengers movies.
I don't know.
Is Daniel Brühl. He's also Austrian or German.
Maybe I don't know him.
And yeah, that guy.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, okay, sure. He's the number one. But yeah, these guys. And that's kind of my dream then with stand-up. If like to have a name for yourself where it's like, oh, no, I'm doing a stadium tour. It's like where? Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, Netherlands, and Spain.
It would be cool. Maybe they would they should do this advertisement. Choose the European.
Yeah, choose the homegrown.
Choose the homegrown. Good.
Yeah, that I think is a cool thing because you know I was thinking if I could just tour, let's say if I could sell tickets as easy as I can in Austria, in Germany, and like 5 more Switzerland and Benelux states and maybe 1-2 random countries, I literally don't need any more.
Yeah.
Because I can just
be on Germany
tour.
Is a big country.
Yeah, and so I can just constantly be on tour doing
Germany
all these
is a
cities.
big country itself. It's 60 million? What?
More.
60, 80 million?
It's 80 million plus 20 million illegals.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus you've got all the German-speaking countries around it.
Yeah.
It's about 100 million people.
Yeah, Austria has...
We have only 6 million people
in Bulgaria?
Yeah.
Really?
Only 6 million.
But it's such a huge country.
It used to be the same size as Austria. They used to be 9 million both. But Austria got to 10 million and we dropped down because
everyone's in Austria.
Yeah, a lot of people go abroad actually. Yeah.
I was wondering, like, do you think maybe that's the problem with the English language, so that all the English-speaking Bulgarians
you learn and then you live.
They're already in the West. They're like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we've got a lot of those. I was one of those. I used to live in Austria as well. Yeah, but I got back. I'm happy I came back.
You happy you're back?
Yeah, I'm happy I'm back. But now I want that people abroad can also connect to us, because we've got this beautiful thing here. We've got a very nice community. We've got a very nice comedy community as well, and the comedy club community.
I'm so shocked you only have 6 million people still. That's crazy. The women are beautiful. What are you guys doing? Get to work, man. What's going on? I saw like 10 supermodels.
They like only foreigners, you know. Our women.
No,
don't.
I'm right here. I can get you.
Choose the Bulgarian.
Choose the homegrown. But I'm Hungarian, so close enough.
Yeah, the flags are similar.
Yeah,
it's almost the same flag.
In the street lights on top of the parliament, the Bulgarian flag was in a weird light, and I had to look twice. And I was like, is that the Russian flag? Because the green looked very blue in the night light. And I'm like, I must be seeing that wrong.
Bulgarians love Russia, so maybe
the politicians.
It's thought like this. Yeah. But the Bulgarian and the Hungarian flags are very similar in...
It's just the order.
It's the order.
It's
of the
red,
colors,
white,
yeah.
green, and you guys
Ours
are white,
white.
red, white, green, red.
White, green, red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you meet a lot of different people from small... For example, have you met a lot of Italian comedians, for example?
A few.
In English?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but they also, like, when they go back to Italy, they do shows in English and in Italian.
Mm-hmm. I
don't
understand that.
I don't
But
do shows
Italy
in
is a big
Hungarian.
country as well. Italy is a big and broad country as well. And
Yeah.
they have, I think they have 40 or 60 million.
I think they're
people.
closer to 60 as well.
Yeah, yeah. France, a lot of comedians that are French. No,
I stay
No.
away from that.
they don't speak English. The French are proud and they will never speak.
I think they do, they just refuse to.
Mhm.
They're like, no, I understand you, but try harder.
I thought I know the word
try-
computer in every language.
What's it in French?
Ordinateur. I thought that
That sounds
I can say the
German.
word computer in every language, and then they come the French, and no, it's not computer.
No, and also ordinateur sounds German, no?
I say it,
Ordination. It's-
I can't say it exactly as them, yeah, but
I don't know. I don't know. I've never been to France for a comedy sense, and if I'm gonna go Lyon, go on the beach and stuff. Because I don't know. I'm really not interested in Paris, and I've never been.
have you played computer games?
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that I have never met in my life through gaming, you know.
Okay.
So I have a lot of friends, real friends that I love
Yeah.
in France. I've never met them in real life.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
nuts.
And their English language sucks.
Sucks. Yeah.
Although we became friends in
Did they,
some magical
talk,
way.
in the
Yeah,
French
yeah.
accent,
Yeah,
shoot to the left.
That's them. That's
Yeah,
them.
I didn't play these shooters. I only played like Diablo.
I played Warcraft, but
Yeah,
that's-
I love that kind of character buildy stuff.
Yeah. Good. So, that was very interesting for me. I wanted to do this talk
Anytime.
and I hope you come back to Bulgaria.
I love to.
I hope you have we'll give our best to give you a very nice experience.
So far, so good. We're one show down from 3, and so far it's super positive.
At one city from 3. Unfortunately,
city,
the
yeah.
weather was very bad today,
Eh.
so you couldn't do the sightseeing as
I don't
properly.
think I would have. I needed some sleep, so I did my sightseeing because I'm on the 7th floor, so I see the city from the window. My sights.
That's what I hate in comedians.
Yeah, I was looking out my window like an old general.
Cool. That's what I hate in comedians. You travel all the time,
But never do sightseeing.
but you don't do any sightseeing.
I
Only
usually-
for joke writing.
Yeah, I do
Only for-
sightseeing. I usually do sightseeing, but I just not today because I was like, no, it's because even now I feel sleepy. But if I couldn't have slept an hour in the afternoon, hour and a half, it would have been a shit show tonight.
Okay.
Because even sitting backstage, I was waiting for the show to start, and I felt like, oh no, come on, move around, do some push-ups, run around, fresh air, get cold or something. And if I couldn't have slept, I think it would have been like, hey guys,
Cool. And
Tomorrow,
tomorrow
Varna.
you have to do that in Varna as well. It's
Okay.
a very, very beautiful city with very beautiful women, and it will be nice. I think you'll like it. But do a little bit of sightseeing.
hell yeah, I'll do a lot of it. We
They
arrive
have a
early.
seaside. They have a seaside, so you can go to the beach. It's a bad weather right now, but
I'm not planning
the
to
beach is
swim.
nice. The beach is nice.
I just had a funny fight argument with a friend of mine who's from Romania. Because when
Yeah.
I was flying here, I took a picture of Lake Balaton from the airplane.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the Hungarian Ocean. Hey,
Cool.
it's the biggest thing ever. And she just wrote me back like, hey, we have the Black Sea. That's an actual sea.
Romania said that
Yeah.
they have such a small border, such a small
You hear that,
Coast.
Naomi? You hear that? Yeah, fuck all. And I
Their
thought that
coast is
and also,
about 2 cities.
How many countries do you have to share that with? Yeah, ours is landlocked. You have Turkish water. That's what we call it. It's Turkish water. So no. We win this. It's our sea. It's a bigger sea, and we're proud of it. It's an ocean.
Cool, man. Thank you. Thank you for this podcast, and thank you for coming to Bulgaria. I'm very glad to know you, and I hope we can build something on this on your coming here.
I hope so too. Thanks for having me. So far, so good. I'm very excited, very happy.
Thank you for watching, guys. And I hope in the future this can be a start of a beautiful friendship.
It already began.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Nice.